And the stories that she recounted in the book are extremely inspiring. In fact, I am inspired to change my career. So, I mean, the book is very, very interesting, and I think people who are satisfied with what they are doing, but it's not the passion, their passion, maybe they should take the plunge, and maybe they should go ahead and do it, and take inspiration from Dr. Rajeshwari's book and her thought. And I'm only hoping this book will be followed up by another book, in which she will talk about people who have not been so well, who are not doing so well economically. Because in this book they talk about people doing well economically and then moving on to a second career. Second book probably would be where people are not doing well economically and yet take the plunge. Maybe that will be even more inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now the moment that we have all been waiting for. May I request Dr. Tharoor to formally release the book and hand over the first copy to Mr. N. Krishnamurthy, the author's father and former Deputy Commissioner Income Tax.
It's not a bad idea. They don't normally do this. You're expected to rip open the packaging.
The media may treat this as a photo opportunity. Thank you, sir. I now request Mr. N. Krishnamurthy to introduce to us Dr. Shashi Tharoor.
Thank you, Mr. Upinder Singh. I am very happy to be here at the book release function of my daughter Rajeshwari. I have seen her work very hard to reach here and I am quite proud of her accomplishment. I take this opportunity to introduce to you our chief guest, Dr. Shashi Tharoor. While Dr. Tharoor is not an unknown face to all of you, it gives me immense pleasure to be talking to you about him today. Born in 1956 to Mr. Chandra and Mrs. Lilly, Dr. Tharoor was educated in India and in the United States, completing a PhD in 1978 at the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University, where he also earned 2 master's degrees. He was awarded the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws in International Affairs by the University of Puget Sound, United States. An aspiring figure to many educational institutions, educated Indians who harbor the desire to join politics, Dr. Tharoor's 3-decade-long career in the UN began in 1978 on the staff of the United Nations High Commission for Refugees in Geneva. He was head of the UNHCR office in Singapore during the peak of the Vietnamese boat people crisis. His other stints in the UN include being a part of the peacekeeping operations, serving as the United Nations Coordinator for Multilingualism and holding the position of Under-Secretary General for Communications and Public Information. And finally, as we are all aware, Dr. Tharoor was the only Indian ever to have contested for the prestigious position of the Secretary General of the UN in what would have been a befitting tribute to his illustrious UN career. In 1998, Dr. Tharoor was named by the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, as a global leader of tomorrow. He is also an elected fellow of the New York Institute of the Humanities and a member of the advisory board of the Indo-American Arts Council. Lest you think Dr. Tharoor is a unidimensional bureaucrat, I must tell you that he has authored 8 books, each of them reflecting his love for the English language, as well as showcasing his passion for India. He is also the recipient of several journalism and literary awards, including a Commonwealth Writers' Prize. What an accomplishment, Dr. Tharoor, all in one's lifetime. Currently, Shashi Tharoor is a member of Parliament and is a role model to millions of young Indians who would like to hold on to their ideals and believe that they too can make a difference to their home country in their own way. May I request you, sir, to share your thoughts on this occasion.
Thank you, Mr. Krishnamurthy, for those very kind words and for that generous introduction. We're here to celebrate the author, Ms. Rajeshwari, but it's nice to meet the author's author as well, the one who authored the author. Thank you for that, Mr. Gopalan and Mr. Jinsey. It's always a pleasure to launch a book, especially since, as Rajeshwari says, those of us who have written them know what an extraordinary amount of effort, labor, and commitment is required to produce one. So it really is a great pleasure to do this. But I found the topic chosen and the treatment particularly interesting. I did ask to see the book before I agreed to launch it. I have never met Rajeshwari before today. And the reason I've done that is I think it is important for us to be aware of the extent to which the kinds of choices people make in their careers can in fact change dramatically at the midpoint of their lives. Very often in our society, we do certain things because our parents expect us to do them. Children are brought up to be doctors or engineers or scientists or IAS officers or whatever in middle class homes. The ambitions are set by the parents, the parameters are laid by the parents, the courses, the admission to the right courses chosen by the parents, and the child pretty much finds himself or herself streamed in a particular direction without ever having had the chance to ask themselves the question, is this what I really want to do? Now, many people therefore spend their lives trapped in professions which they have embarked upon out of a sense of duty, rather than because this was what really moved their soul. A very small handful decide